What drives a person to destroy the one place that holds a community together? In the small town of Willow Creek, where the park was more than just a patch of green, it was the heart of shared memories, laughter, and quiet moments of reflection. Karen Delaney's actions would unravel a story no one saw coming. The scent of blooming flowers, the chatter of children, and the rustle of leaves underfoot were constants in this tight-knit neighborhood. But one reckless act, born of frustration and defiance, would set off a chain of events that left the town reeling, hearts broken, and a legacy forever altered. Karen wasn't always the villain in her own story. A single mother of two, she'd moved to Willow Creek 5 years ago, seeking a fresh start after a bitter divorce. She was a regular at the community park. Her kids, Mia and Lucas, often seen chasing dragonflies or swinging from the monkey bars. Karen, though, carried a weight no one fully understood. Her sharp tongue and quick temper earned her a reputation, but beneath it was a woman stretched thin, juggling bills, a dead-end job at the local diner, and the constant pressure to keep her family afloat. The park was her escape, to a place where she could sit on a bench, sip coffee, and pretend life wasn't always closing in. The trouble began on a humid July evening. The park's annual cleanup day was approaching, and the town council had been cracking down on littering. Signs dotted the park: "Keep Willow Creek Beautiful," and $500 fine for illegal dumping. Karen, however, had other problems. Her landlord had threatened eviction if she didn't clear out the junk piling up in her backyard: old furniture, broken toys, and bags of trash she couldn't afford to haul to the dump. Frustrated and out of options, she made a decision that would haunt her. Late that night, under the cover of darkness, she loaded her pickup truck with trash and drove to the park's edge, where a small, secluded clearing sat near the woods. She didn't plan to burn it. Not at first. Her idea was to dump the bags and leave, figuring no one would trace it back to her. But as she stood there, staring at the heap of garbage, something snapped. Maybe it was the years of feeling overlooked, the resentment toward the town's perfect image, or the sheer exhaustion of being judged. She grabbed a lighter from her pocket, flicked it, and watched the flames catch. The fire grew faster than she expected, licking at the dry grass and sending plumes of acrid smoke into the night sky. Karen froze, mesmerized and horrified, as the blaze spread toward the park's beloved flower garden, the one planted in memory of Ellie Harper, a local teacher who died in a car accident 2 years prior. The garden was no ordinary patch of flowers. Ellie, a beloved figure in Willow Creek, had spent years cultivating rare Karen roses, their vibrant red petals a symbol of resilience and hope. The community had rallied to maintain the garden after her death, each bloom a testament to her legacy. Now, as the flames crept closer, Karen realized the gravity of her mistake. She grabbed a blanket from her truck, trying to smother the fire, but it was too late. Sirens wailed in the distance, and by the time the fire department arrived, the garden was a smoldering ruin, the roses reduced to ash. The next morning, Willow Creek was in an uproar. The park, once a haven, looked like a war zone. Charred earth scarred the clearing, and the flower garden was gone. Karen's truck, parked too close to the scene, was quickly traced back to her. When the police knocked on her door, she didn't resist. Her kids, wide-eyed and confused, watched as their mother was led away in handcuffs. The charge: arson and illegal dumping. The fine: a staggering $180,000, covering environmental damage, cleanup costs, and the loss of the town's cherished garden. Karen's name became synonymous with betrayal, her face plastered across local news with the headline, "Local Mom Destroys Community Park." But the story didn't end there. Enter Marcus Tate, a quiet landscaper who'd worked alongside Ellie Harper to plant the Karen roses. Marcus was no stranger to loss. His wife had passed from cancer a decade ago, and he'd poured his grief into the park, tending the flowers as if they were his own heart. When he saw the destruction, something shifted in him. Most assumed he'd be the loudest voice calling for Karen's punishment. Instead, Marcus did something no one expected. He visited her in jail. The town buzzed with speculation. Why would Marcus, of all people, show kindness to the woman who'd torched Ellie's legacy? At the jail, Marcus sat across from Karen, his weathered hands clasped tightly. "Why'd you do it?" he asked, not with anger but with a searching curiosity. Karen broke down, her defenses crumbling. She told him about the eviction threats, the financial strain, the suffocating weight of trying to be enough for her kids. She hadn't meant to hurt any. Onesh just wanted to make the problem disappear. Marcus listened, his silence more powerful than any judgment. What no one knew was that Marcus had his own secret. Years ago, he'd been the one driving the car that killed Ellie Harper. It was an accidental moment of distraction on a rainy night, but the guilt had haunted him ever since. He'd never told anyone, not even the police, who'd ruled it a tragic collision with no clear fault. The Karen roses were his penance, each one a silent apology to Ellie. When he saw Karen's desperation, he saw himself a person who'd made a terrible mistake and carried the weight alone. Marcus's visit changed the narrative. At the town meeting to discuss Karen's punishment, he stood up, his voice steady but raw. "We've all messed up," he said. "Some mistakes are bigger, but none of us are clean. That garden was Ellie's heart, but it was also ours. We can rebuild it together." He proposed a radical idea. Reduce Karen's fine and let her work off the debt by helping restore the park. The room erupted in debate. Some called it justice, others weakness. Karen, still in custody, wept when she heard. The twist didn't sit well with everyone. Sarah Gwynn, a council member and Ellie's best friend, was livid. She'd spent months organizing fundraisers for the garden and saw Karen's actions as a personal attack. Sarah rallied a group to demand the full fine, arguing that leniency would set a dangerous precedent. The town split, half saw Karen as a monster, half as a broken woman who'd made a terrible choice. The tension culminated at the park's restoration day, where volunteers gathered to replant the roses. Karen, released on bail, showed up, her hands trembling as she held a shovel. Sarah confronted her, words sharp as knives. "You don't get to touch her flowers." Marcus stepped in, revealing his own truth to the crowd. The air grew heavy as he confessed his role in Ellie's death. Gasps rippled through the volunteers. Sarah, stunned, dropped her trowel. For the first time, she saw Karen not as a villain but as someone else carrying a burden. The moment didn't erase the pain, but it shifted something. Sarah didn't forgive Karen, not yet, but she stepped aside, letting her plant a single rose. The restoration took months, but the park slowly healed. Karen worked tirelessly, her kids by her side, learning the names of the flowers and the stories behind them. The fine was reduced to $50,000, still a crushing sum, but the community pitched in, some donating quietly, moved by Marcus's plea for second chances. Yet the ending wasn't tidy. Karen's reputation never fully recovered. Whispers followed her at the diner, and Mia and Lucas faced taunts at school. The roses bloomed again, but they weren't Ellie's. They were different, a new strain, their petals a softer red. Karen stood alone one evening, watching the sunset over the park. The roses swayed in the breeze, beautiful but unfamiliar. She'd kept her family together, but at a cost. The town had shown her mercy, but it hadn't forgotten. Marcus, too, carried his confession like a scar, knowing some would never look at him the same. The park was whole again, but the cracks in Willow Creek's heart remained, a reminder that some wounds heal but never vanish. ND